Alrighty, I think we can jump into the Validator meetup for July 20th. Today's Thursday, and this call will be dedicated to all things Shapella. So just quick context before I hand it over to Daplion, our core dev from Gnosis chain. All client updates are ready for the upcoming Shapella hard fork, which is on August 1st, 2023 at approximately 11:34 UTC. I will share our blog post right here that has all relevant information about those client updates that you need if you're a node runner, which I'm assuming you are because you're on this call. So yeah, with that, the format for today is going to be that Daplion, and we have Felipe here too, who's also a member of the dev team for Gnosis Chain. We'll hand it over to them. They can talk about Shapella, and then we can do an AMA. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to unmute your mic, or you can share your question in the chat, and I can ask it for you. So please remember to mute your mic if it's currently unmuted, if you're not speaking. And yeah, please wait for the AMA to unmute your mic and ask questions. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Daplion and Felipe. Thanks for making the time.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. So I think it will be good to just do a brief refresh of what is Shapella about. So the main point of this hard fork is enabling withdrawals. As you know, since the merge, that's the last big component that we have to you being able to complete the validator lifecycle. Then, due to the fact that in Gnosis you don't stake with a native token, that would be XDAI, you stake with an ERC20 GNO, this fork has had more complexity than the others, and it's notably the biggest difference that we have now with Ethereum. So the main component of this fork has been this modified EIP to handle this case. In Gnosis chain, if you want to withdraw, the process would be initiated in the same way. Whenever you choose to do so, if you want to fully exit your validator, you can send a voluntary exit from the Beacon chain. Also, if you have your BLS2 execution credentials set up, a partial withdrawal would happen automatically at a specific interval, depending on the network size. To claim those funds, there will be available in the withdraw contract, which is the same address as the deposit contract. Anyone, including you, DevOps, which we expect different parties to do, will trigger this withdraw, and then these tokens will be dispersed to your address. So this last mechanism was a change that we did, I think, about 2 to 3 months ago, and it's the main reason we have been lagging behind Ethereum for about 2 months. The initial design wanted to do a push similar to Ethereum, where the ETH just magically appears. We expected to do the same with ERC20. The problem is that if we do that, then Explorer, Dune, and all the other tooling will not capture the transfer events, and that would basically all the accounting that they do. So we switched the design into this pool mechanism where, again, either you party can trigger these disperse events. This is similar if you have ever done like any DeFi or yield farming protocol. It's the same, where there is some contract that holds a state, and you can just trigger this function to disperse these funds. So switching from the push style to the pull style was the reasoning why we had this extra delay. But I'm very happy with the final design. I think it's much more simple. We had to handle very nasty edge cases on the previous design, and I don't think here there will be any issue. Just for this claim step, it's still very cheap gas-wise, and if at any point is not, again, I see either Gnosis or any other party stepping up to trigger these disperse events, which, by the way, they are cumulative. So if you have, say, partial withdrawals daily, and you only want to claim these funds once a year, you will only have to pay for this claim transaction once. So that's the main topic. That's withdrawals. This network update comes with a bunch of other EIPs. that I think are not that much of interest, but you can read the full list. I think on our blog posts or on the specs repo, there is a network upgrades document. I'm not sure if I can link it here or somewhere, but maybe myself or someone else will do. But it's basically small things about the EVM preparing for EOF. But this would happen later in the game, and it's not that relevant for our case. So yeah, that's Shapella. As you can see, it's not a very complex update. For you as a staker, all you have to do is update your CL and EL clients. This is much simpler than what you had to do for the previous fork, which was just figuring out how to run a new client in a new setup, which takes a lot more bandwidth, a lot more disk, a lot more memory, so potentially upgrading your hardware. Here, that's not the case. Your requirements will be the same, all directions. So again, just only update your CL client and EL client for the fork date, and you're good to go. If you have not changed your BLS credentials to execution credentials, and you want to be able to access you have to do one extra step. But you can choose to do that at any time. It's not necessary that you rush to do it now. After the fork, and there are multiple guides that in here, and it's just very easy. You just have to access your original mnemonic, process a message with different tooling into a website. And once you do this, then you would be able to claim the withdrawals. If you don't do that until later, that's not a problem. All the withdrawals will accumulate in the contract, in the beacon state. And whenever you submit this message, then these withdrawals will be processed and available in the contract, and then eventually available in your address. So I think that's all I wanted to touch. Do you want to add anything else, Philippe? Or if you are in a very noisy situation and do you want to speak, thumbs up or something.
Right. Yeah, sorry. So what I wanted to add is, of course, ask our users and validators to update all their nodes. Of course, I mean, we've done a few announcements on this already. It's very important. The hard fork is in less than 2 weeks. So please, everyone, upgrade your nodes. Very important. All the minimal releases are posted on Discord, on Twitter, a bit everywhere. So you should easily find them. If not, just ask us on Discord. It's fine. And also you can also just run the latest versions of all your clients. That should work as well. So yeah, please upgrade your nodes. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this one. On the previous fork, unfortunately, participation was not as good as we expected, and we dipped below the finalization level for, I think, a couple epochs. So I'm hopeful this will not happen this time. So yeah, just do your part, update your notes, and yeah, make sure we don't fall into non-finalization. If we do for a few epochs, it's not that bad. I mean, it wasn't done, not the end of the wall of the other one, but I think it shows a better optics for how coordinated and invested the Gnosis Taker community is in that regard. And also, it's important to note, if that was to happen again and we dip into non-finalization and some of your clients are not running, the inactivity leak, and then you can suffer credit high penalties. So yeah, if enough people don't update your nodes and you are in that group, you may be exposed to. So just something to keep in mind.
Okay, I think we can take some questions now. Dirk asked, are the DApp node packages available? And Felipe answered yes. Everything is up to date, so we're good to go there. And yes, he linked to the validators announcement, so you can access that resource there, Dirk. And then Cessanilli is asking, will unstaking and withdrawals mimic Ethereum? where operators are limited to a certain exit number that can be done per block or 24-hour cycle.
Yes, correct. That's the same mechanism. There is so for partial withdrawals, and that includes also the full withdrawals, there is a pointer that will scan the whole validator set. And whenever it finds sole candidates for producing a withdraw object, that will be appended to the block up to the maximum limit, and then that pointer is stored and continued on the next block. So that effectively limits the rate of withdrawal per block. In the Gnosis case, the number has been adjusted so that the hourly rate of withdrawals is the same as Ethereum. But because the index set is smaller, you can expect this pointer to loop about 6 times faster than Ethereum.
Patty Lambo says, new to staking, I'm using DApp node. Would there be a way to initiate an exit if my machine is offline, shut off? And Felipe answered, yes. As long as you have your keys, you can do so with ETH though. And again, if you don't know what that is, then please read through the Gnosis Chain docs on the about withdrawals, which we linked above here in the chat over on the right-hand side.
Yeah, I'm not sure if maybe the app node has a way to produce those messages for you just from the UI. I think if they don't have this feature, they could have it. So ask them.
Are there any changes made to the source code for the Nimbus beacon node for Gnosis binary delivered in the Docker image, or is it the exact source code in the relevant version tag in the Nimbus repo?
Yeah, so for Nimbus case, they use for serialization and merge, so that's to compute the state root and serialize the 2DB, very optimized code. And the data structures in Gnosis and Ethereum are slightly. So the only difference really is variable that will change the code paths. So what we want exclusively is maintain a special, just a forked version of their CIC where we enable this build variable. Anything else, so source code written by humans is exactly the same arguments. So Beam is asking, so using make Gnosis be the same? I think yes. I don't remember the make file by heart, but should be. I think the fact that we maintain a different GitHub repo is a bit more of a organizational decision. Different clients have different needs on how to handle this difference in the build arguments. I think the Nimbus team prefers to maintain on their Docker hub the canonical Ethereum versions only, and then we just keep our Gnosis specific in a Gnosis named root Docker hub account.
Yeah, so it is actually the same. Give me a second. I'm looking for the link, but I'm on my phone at ETC, so it's a bit complicated to answer fast enough. But I'll send you the builds Docker file so that you can see how we actually build it. And then you can do the same if you want to.
There's also seems to be some confusion around people who are running multiple nodes and setting the withdrawal address. So do they need to set can they set one withdrawal address for all the nodes that they're running? Or do they have to be separate and distinct?
Yes. So you can do whatever you want. For every single index, you can set either a distinct withdraw address or the same withdraw address for all. That's up to you. There is no requirement in that regard.
And do you need to worry about managing your fee recipient, or is that not something that you need to worry about for Shapella?
So the fee recipient and meaning to the withdraw address. The recipient is used whenever you produce a block. And like in the future, also rewards will go to that address. But that's a for block proposing only. The withdraw instead is whenever there is a partial withdraw or a full withdraw, your stake will go to. So if you are already running on Gnosis, you should have configured the fee recipient and properly secure it. For the withdraw address, you can either use the same if you want to, or set a new one. You should keep in mind that the level of value that will go to the fee recipient account is much less than the withdraw address. So you should keep that account in a level of security that you're comfortable with, and can eventually handle all the stake that you have in the chain.
Okay, one more dumb question. Can the withdrawal address and the fee recipient address be the same?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just want to encourage people to continue to ask questions, because this is a unique opportunity that we have both Dapline and Felipe here. So yeah, please. There are no dumb questions. As you can see, I asked a dumb question. So yeah, please feel free to speak up. You can type your question or unmute your mic.
It's also the last meetup before Shapella, so don't miss your chance.
Another point, maybe that's obvious, but you can totally use a ledger created address for both fee recipient and withdraw credentials. And that's actually a very sensible way to secure these addresses.
Okay, looks like we have a few more questions.
You can also set it to, you can use a multi-sig, any setup, any address that has the key to send an ERC20 token, target for both the fee recipient and the withdraw credentials. And I guess related to if you should use one or multiple, always the simplest setup is always the best, because you have the least possibilities to have human error that can lead to loss of funds or something similar. Maybe one angle that I would consider if I were to split is if you have deposited with the same deposit address, you have to keep in mind that all the indexes are already tied together. If you choose to deposit from different depositor addresses that are not linked to each other for tax reasons, legal reasons, or whatever reason you choose to, then you should also use a different fee recipient address and a different withdraw address to keep operational security between these accounts and make sure that they are not linked. Then in that case, it would make sense to use different addresses. Otherwise, just using the same everywhere, it just makes your life simpler.
Cool. Okay. Well, I know everyone's busy and people are at ECC, so I don't want to take up too much time. And yeah, last call. If there are any pressing questions, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Well, speak now or ask it at any time, any hour of the day in the chat, and we will look at it for sure.
Looking forward for the Shapella fork.
Thank you, Dirk. Yes, absolutely. And please feel free to always ask questions either in the Validator channel or the general channel. And we have 2 new Discord moderators, Mert and Manuel, who are awesome, and myself and Armand. So we are here to help you and direct you to the resources. So yeah, please ask anytime, 24/7, and we're here to help. So Dapline and Felipe, thank you so much for making the time. We all are excited about Shapella, and it's happening soon. Only basically 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks away. So, all right, with that, we will see you on chain. Thanks, everyone, and take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe.
Thanks. Bye.